Greetings! Welcome to Game News on Peace Love Data, brought to you by YouTube. The first story I chose today simply because of one guy, honestly. If you're like most people, you have no idea who Jeff Tunnell is. But if you have played classics like The Incredible Machine, Trophy Bass, or Tribes, you are already familiar with his work. Jeff decided to start a new development company called Spotkin Games and create a spiritual successor to The Incredible Machine called the Contraption Maker. Being a huge fan of Tribes, and if I'm honest, Trophy Bass, I wanted to see what Jeff could do. Even though the genre is totally different from either of those two, the same man creating a new game intrigued me. So I did some research and found out that there is quite the cult following for The Incredible Machine. In fact, anywhere Jeff goes, no matter what he's working on, everybody asks him about The Incredible Machine. Being that the game started its own genre called the physics puzzler, I'm not surprised at all. Now, the Contraption Maker is a virtual Rube Goldberg machine. But unlike real Rube Goldberg machines, precision and pixel placement is not the winning factor in this. It's more like when you figure out how to solve the puzzle, you have this aha moment. The reward is not in the actual minute placement of each one of the contraptions, but more in the solving of the puzzle as a whole, which is very interesting. And pixel placement is not fun. No, that's torture. With over 50 different items, the Contraption Maker is promising to be a deep experience, with any contraption being able to be copied and pasted into your new machines anywhere you go, just like Photoshop. Keeping in mind the internet is a thing now, the potential for multiple users to be working on the same puzzle from all around the globe has a lot of people kind of worked up over this. The LEGO fanatics dream of being able to have a build partner without actually having to go out and make a friend who will tolerate your habit is intriguing. Without bringing back dated models made from a game that was developed in the 90s, the entire look of the game has been remapped in 3D and finely tuned by hand, leaving the preemptive purchasing power of the game quite high. I'm a LEGO fan myself, so yeah. So Elder Scrolls Online might be your first experience with an MMO, most likely. I've personally never been able to convince myself that buying an MMO is going to be very entertaining at all, really. So yeah, as far as MMOs go, it has a lot of potential. It's an RPG MMO, and I was not disappointed by what I found out. The control scheme will be very similar to Skyrim, if not just a few minor changes here and there, which makes it much less intimidating to those of you who are still anticipating a horrible experience from something like an MMO. There will be 16 different 4-man dungeons at launch. Non-instance dungeons will be available as well for the 2-man groups, which are not story-based. They're kind of like a side mission. And 6 master dungeons you can only attain after you've reached a certain level in the game and you are alerted that there has been a master dungeon made available for you, which actually continues the story from previous dungeons. You don't need to join a guild or a group whenever you are starting in the game and you just want to loot up. The mechanics of the game allow for you to join with any group, and as long as you do at least 10% damage, you are given full loot, which is pretty cool. Eventually, when you join someone else's group or create your own, you will have the potential to have your own specific story. Whether you decide to spare or kill the bandit leader at the end of a mission or a dungeon boss, your story is unique to you. So if your friend decides to kill him and you decide to spare him, you will see something very different than what your friend will see as far as, well, how the story progresses. The story is your own. They're not talking about adventure mode, which is supposed to be a between 4 and 24 player experience that you do within the game. No idea why. They're probably trying something new and they don't know how it's going to fly, so they don't want to talk about it. I don't blame them. But the PvP area is the size of the center of Cyrodiil, because it is the center of Cyrodiil. If you're following the Elder Scrolls story map between each game, the game of Elder Scrolls Online is actually set 1,000 years before Skyrim. So you can expect a whole bunch of brand new looks and a lot bigger playing area to adventure in. And to wrap it up, Square Enix has reversed their non-monetization of Final Fantasy XIV. Not surprised. And the PS4 bundle, which includes the Sony version of the Kinect and 2 DualShock controllers on top of a free game, most likely Killzone, will retail for the same price as the basic Xbox One. Besides that, the PlayStation Store will have billing options linked to your mobile phone. So if you want to buy games or movies or channels now, you can purchase them on your smartphone. And shortly after Sony announced this, Microsoft also announced they will have mobile billing options. What do you know? Thank you. This has been Game News, and I hope everybody's day is going pretty well. I'm Andre. Another day.